Are you wondering if e-commerce is right for your food business? Wondering if it's going to help you grow and see big sales and profitability, or if it's going to be a waste of money? Let's go through the reality of what it's going to cost you, what your options are, and what the myths are around e-commerce, so that you know if it's right to add to your food business model. For the best packaged food business advice, subscribe below to this YouTube channel by clicking on the bell, and that way you will get notified every time I release a new video about a hot industry topic and something that will help you be more successful in your food business. If you are starting or growing a food business, you need to consider whether e-commerce or online sales is right for you. It's not going to be right for every food business, and there are some major pitfalls and costs that are associated with this. Watch this video to the end to know exactly how much it's going to cost you and whether an online strategy will actually be profitable and make your business money. I'm Sari Kimbell. I'm the creator of Food Business Success, and I have helped hundreds of entrepreneurs start and grow profitable food businesses. Okay, so let's get into the first issue around e-commerce, and that is trends. So if you have a packaged food product, it is different than other e-commerce trends, right? It is different than buying a lamp or a computer or even a pair of shoes or piece of clothing. We are seeing trends increase around e-commerce for food products. Certainly Amazon Pantry is a driver of that. We are seeing more marketplaces that I will talk about next, but we are seeing more marketplaces where people are selling food. So it is rising, but by no means does this mean that the brick and mortar grocery store is dead. And in fact, more people still prefer to shop for their food in a store. There is something about tasting and touching and smelling and asking questions about your product. There's no question. So while we're seeing an overall, obviously, booming trend in e-commerce, food is definitely a much slower trend on that. So depending on your product and whether it really is on trend and makes for the right type of e-commerce product will be one of the factors that we'll need to consider. So do know that generally it is going up, but not nearly as quickly as some other consumable products. Types of e-commerce business, there are actually two within the e-commerce sales channel. So in your business model, you're going to have multiple sales channels. So if you choose e-commerce, you have two ways you can go, or a mix. So you can go what I call native e-commerce, which is your home web page, something like a Shopify account, right, that you are listing your products on and people can check out and buy right there. I would also put in Facebook Shop in that category, right? It's part of your managed ecosystem of your food products, so you're managing and shipping those things yourself. And then you have what are called marketplaces. So marketplaces, of course, the big one is Amazon, but there are quite a number of other food business marketplaces that we're seeing. A couple of them are Goldbelly, Indie Goods, and Bubble. And these are marketplaces that are specifically for food or specifically for like handcrafted or scratch-made items that have a food category within them. So the nice thing is that they're spending some of their marketing dollars to get eyeballs to their sites and get clicks over to their sites, but you're still going to have to do that work to get off of their store shelves, right? So now let's talk about the myths of e-commerce. The biggest myth that I see is people believing, and I hear it all the time from clients, if I just put my product on Amazon, I will make so much money. This is my golden ticket, right? And that just isn't the case. Amazon is a full-time job for some people to manage their successful Amazon store. It takes a tremendous amount of work and resources of time and of money. in order for you to rank up towards the top, you're going to have to spend some good sponsorship dollars. I have one client in particular who only does e-commerce, and their main channel is through Amazon, and that is their full-time job to manage that and to manage their social media and the sponsorships and the Facebook ads and everything driving it to their Amazon store. So do not believe that if you just put it on Amazon, that buyers will just magically start shopping at your store and buying your product. Those days are over, and the market is so saturated that whatever product you are making most likely already has hundreds of competitors, and they might not be as good as yours, of course, but you're going to be really lost in a sea of coffees and jams and salsas and everything else that's already up on an Amazon. It's also quite expensive. People think, oh, it's so much cheaper. So myth number 2 would be that it is so much cheaper to sell online. And that is just not the case. In fact, and then myth number 3, I would say, is around your native website. So I think it's pretty tempting, and I hear this a lot from my clients that say, I have so many people who have been asking me for my granola and for my jam and for my beverages and all of these things, and a lot of those are probably your friends and family. So if you put up a native website, which you absolutely need a website, but that will mainly be supported by your friends and family. You are not going to get hundreds and hundreds of people onto your native website buying your product. I mean, think about it. When was the last time that you went to somebody's website and purchased a food product directly from them? That was the only thing you purchased. I don't know that I ever actually have, and I build websites for clients. So be aware that there are costs associated with hosting a Shopify website or any e-commerce website, and a lot of those sales are probably going to be from friends and family, and hopefully some recurring customers who have purchased it once. But it's unlikely that you're going to attract all these brand new customers once you throw up your own website. So I would love to know what your food business that you are considering, or maybe you've already started, is in the comments. Comment below and tell me what you're making. I always love to learn what people are doing. Should e-commerce be a part of your particular packaged food business model? I have a YouTube video on this channel all about the different types of businesses that you can set up as a packaged food product. So let's talk about whether your particular product and type of business would do well in e-commerce. So the first thing is your product type. Is it something that is conducive to shipping? And that could of course be shelf life, right? I mean, obviously, if you are selling a perishable product, that's going to be a lot harder, or something that needs to be frozen or refrigerated. So that involves more complexities there. It's not impossible, but it's going to be harder. If it's in glass, I have a lot of clients whose products are in glass, and it just makes the shipping peak component so much more difficult. Also, Amazon is not a fan of glass, obviously, because it breaks, and it's heavy to ship. So it can be more challenging to get into the Fulfilled by Amazon to be listed as Prime if you are in glass. So consider your product perishable or not, is it shelf stable, and then the type of container packaging that it comes in. We are seeing trends where people are making e-commerce specific packaging, especially to be more efficient for Amazon, where they will have completely different packaging just for Amazon. So that's definitely a trend that we're seeing. The other piece of it is around your money, your budget. There is no question that it is going to take some money investment up front for you to be successful in e-commerce. As I mentioned, with Amazon, you're going to need to spend sponsorship dollars to get your product to rise to the top. and be seen on those earlier pages, be seen as sponsored ads. In order to get people to go to your Facebook shop or your native website, you're going to have to spend money on Facebook ads. You're also just going to have to spend a lot more time managing your account as well as the shipping aspect of it. So you want to think through, what is your current strategy? Are you really devoted to wholesale? Then maybe adding on a big Amazon component to do it right isn't the right time, the right mix, unless you have a lot of money to help pay for somebody to help do it for you. So a couple of ways that you could save some time would be through something called drop shipping. So I just want to be sure and mention that. Drop shipping is where somebody else is storing your product for you. So kind of like an Amazon, but for your own website, or some of these other marketplaces will have their own drop shipping. So you can have somebody else store your product, and then when the order comes through on your native website, then they actually take care of all the shipping. So that's an option as well, and that would save you a little bit of time. But you really want to think through those three things around product, your time, and your money resources before you start investing heavily into an e-commerce strategy. Let's talk about the reality of cost and time that it's going to take to have a successful e-commerce strategy as part of your business model. So as I already mentioned, there are fees associated. So Amazon, we are seeing between 30 and 40% as pretty typical of the fees that they're going to take from you just to sell your product and host that within their Fulfilled by Amazon and carry it in their warehouse. And you do get penalized when your product sits on the shelf at the warehouse for too long. So you have to keep that product moving, otherwise you're going to see those fees increase. So that's the first thing to be aware of with Amazon. So you can definitely look into other marketplaces, like I mentioned some of the other ones. They have better rates. A lot of times they'll do drop shipping. I've heard really great things about working with some of these sites like Goodbelly and Indie Goods and Bubble. But just remember that shopping online for food products is still relatively new, and it hasn't caught on in quite the same way that shopping for other goods has. So if you think just because you get on those sites that all of a sudden your sales are going to be skyrocketing, that's just not going to be the case. So you're still going to have to do some ads and things to help drive your customer base to those sites. And you can decide if that's the only place you want to be. I know of a couple of food businesses who they don't do their own native e-commerce, they just have a plain website. And then if you want to order online, then they take you to Goodbelly, for instance. So that could be one of your strategies, is to only go through a marketplace. So there will be some fees associated that you'll pay through that. But otherwise, once you can get on, which you're going to have to apply, you're going to have to convince them that your product is well deserved of that shelf space, right? Just like when you're going into a grocery store, they're giving you shelf space. So you have to make the case for that. And of course, you're going to be selling it at a lower price, or almost like a wholesale relationship. And then of course there is your native website. So I highly recommend Shopify if you're going to go that route. I build my clients' websites on Shopify. So if you go that route, though, there's a monthly fee that you're going to have to pay. That is your hosting. They'll host your website for that fee as well. But you can build out your whole website on there. It's super easy, great templates. Build in all of your shipping, your e-commerce, and then of course there will be a percentage that comes out on the back end from that credit card transaction. The nice thing with Shopify is that you do get shipping discounts, and they have a great system for giving you those all of your labels and everything to make shipping really easy. And then of course, as I mentioned, you can save some time with drop shipping. All right, so whether you should do e-commerce or not, I tend to recommend that you don't go in again with that naive optimism that if I just throw up a website with e-commerce, money's just going to be pouring in. Or if I just put it on Amazon, money's going to be pouring in. I think a mix is healthy. I think that it is important to give people like your friends and family who want to support you a place for them to go and buy your products. But I would generally recommend sticking with a strong wholesale strategy, as well as maybe combining that with some events or farmers markets when you first start, and then continuing to build up your wholesale. You really need to be building up your awareness about your product simultaneously as you're starting your e-commerce end of your business. So I generally don't recommend making e-commerce your primary strategy, the one you're going to go all in for most food types. However, I do have a couple of clients that is our strategy, and so that again is all dependent on your product type and kind of where you want to be spending your time and your money. So I generally would recommend going a more traditional wholesale farmers market route with a little bit of e-commerce, but every now and again, we go all in on e-commerce with a little bit of wholesale. So it's not that you can't do one or the other. I just don't recommend that you go all in at the same time, making both the primary strategy. It's just going to take a tremendous amount of time and money to do them both well. And generally, if you are just starting a food business, you don't have an excess of time or money. So choose one as your primary and then make the other one your secondary strategy as you create your business model for profitability. Are you ready to start that food business now? Are you excited? I'm excited for you. I would love to know what you're making. Please grab my business checklist using the link below. It's a great resource guide that will take you step by step through everything you need to do to start your food business to be legitimate, licensed, and legal. This checklist will help you avoid wasting hard-earned time and money. Get the checklist below. Also, if you want to join a community of food businesses, get one-on-one coaching from me, get your questions answered quickly about how to start a food business and all of this crazy stuff that we're talking about, from licenses and e-commerce and business models, I highly recommend that you check out my Food Business Success monthly coaching membership. This is a great way to get live Q&A calls with me so that you can get your questions answered quickly and keep you moving along towards getting your business going. If you like this video, please let me know below. Like this page, please subscribe to Food Business Success, and let me know in the comments if this was helpful and what kind of a food business you are starting.